Alright, welcome back to another video from the Clark & Addison Gaming Company. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator at the Clark & Addison Gaming Company, and in this video I'm going to show off a new project. So this is going to be a basketball game, and I've sort of hinted at it just a little bit on Facebook, but this is a collaborative game. So I actually have been working to see how I can leverage ChatGPT. So I got on ChatGPT, and this is the game that the robot came up with. So I've done maybe 10% of the work, a lot of designing the cards and things like that. But the rating system has come completely from the computer. I would say 95% of the game engine has come from ChatGPT as well. I did the score, I guess the clock here. You can see the clock. It's mostly an adaptation of the clock I've been using for top of the key. So 40 possessions, and I've broken them down by time. You could just simply play by possession, but the time is there just to kind of give you an idea of where you are in the quarter. And then I also have, I created a little chart here to help you with managing player time. So how much time each type of player should be on the floor. So if you're playing 40 plus minutes played on your cards, then you should be playing 10 minutes out of every quarter. So all but a couple of minutes. So maybe at the 2-minute mark you switch those guys out. 30 to 40 minutes should be playing about 6.5 minutes per quarter, etc. So that is just a little helper. I know that top of the key needs that, and so that's just something kind of basic that you can use for anything. What I did was I took 40 out of 48 minutes, and I figured out what percentage that is. It's something like 83% or something like that, whatever the percentage is of 40 divided by 48. And then I just applied that to the 48 minutes. So how many minutes, how many seconds out of I guess how many seconds out of 48 minutes is going to be 80 something percent. So I'm transition 48 minutes into 60, 48 times 60 gives you how many seconds there are in a basketball game, and then you just take 80% of that, and then you got to convert it back to minutes. So it's I think it's a good system. It's going to come out just about right. So 80% of 12 minutes is going to be 10 minutes. So that's kind of how I got to that. And then if you're under 10 minutes, it's up to you to just decide like when to apply a player. Obviously fouls and that type of thing is going to dictate when a player needs to come out. Do you need to protect them, maybe just move them around, or does he need to come out of the game for a set amount of time, maybe even a quarter? Sometimes you get foul trouble early and a guy sits for the rest of the half because you just need him for the second half. So player management is the hardest part, I think, of a football or a basketball game. It's not quite as difficult in baseball, but in football and basketball it can be a little bit tricky because you're dealing with stamina, but you're also dealing with other situations like fouls or injuries, that type of thing. So let's get into the game. So these are the player cards here, and you can see that I've created every single player down to Ronnie Price, 9 minutes a game. He only played in 9 games. There's some other these guys are all under 10 minutes or under 20 minutes per game. They got into a lot of games, so they are a part of the rotation, but they're just not starters. And you can tell here we got minutes played, so that is always going to be on the card. Points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, field goal and free throw percentages. You have their age, and then you also have how many games they played. So you can see all these guys played 70 plus games, so they were they're your main starters. They played anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes a game. And the same thing over here with the with the Raptors. So the Toronto Raptors. I have the Jazz and the Raptors. This is 2008, 2007, 2008 set. I've created three different eras, basically three different team season sets: 1972, or 71, 72, 85, 86, and then 2007, 2008. So it's kind of three different eras. I'm going to release these so that you can just play them and be able to try out different eras. Maybe your jam is the 70s, maybe it's, you know, later than that, or maybe you just want to try a little bit of each one, and that would be okay too. A couple of unique things here. So this system is based off of a 2D12, a 2 to 12, sorry, 2D6 system. So you just need a couple of D6 dice. I like to have three because you're going to use this die sort of over and over again. So I like to use three. You could technically get away with just two, and you could go as high as four because there's sort of, you have to roll this one twice for each possession. So you could get away with four if you could remember one die is for one thing and one die is for the other. However you want to do that. So you could do all the rolls just with one roll. I typically roll this one first, and then I roll all three of these together, and I'll show a sample in just a moment. So very simple as far as the dice are concerned, and all of these ratings are based on a 2 to 12 system, and basically on a free throw, a 1 to 11 is good. So that puts them at, you know, whatever that is, 95% or something like that. It's pretty high, and you can see some guys are a little better or worse at shooting free throws. All these guys are pretty good. If you get to some bench players, they're just not as good. Excuse me, they're just not as good at shooting free throws. But these are, oh, here's Paul Millsap. He's an 8. That's not a great free throw shooter. And I would have to look back to see and try to remember. That's like a 70% free throw shooter. So I'd have to try to remember what those percentages are, but they kind of go up from there. You can also see their offensive number. So this offensive number is basically what you're going to use to roll against when you're shooting a shot. So you have their offensive numbers. Higher numbers are going to mean they are better offensive players. So Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer, they were the two top scorers here. You can see 21 points a game, 18 points a game, almost 19 for Darren Williams. And that offensive number is based off of points per game. It's also based off of their shooting percentage. And so the better shooters, the better offensive players are going to have higher ratings. You can see Chris Bosh with a 7. He was their primary scorer at 22 a game. The rest of these guys are right around 10 or 12 points a game. So he's obviously going to be taking more shots, getting the ball more. You're going to have to kind of massage things a little bit. So there's a lot of player choice in this. But there's also a healthy, it's meant to be played solo. So you can play it solo or with another person. If you play solo, it plays just as well as if you're playing with another person because of the way that the charts work out. You can also just simply decide where you want the ball to go, and that's fine too. It's totally going to be up to your discretion to do that. There's no sort of hard and fast rules on that. It's a little bit more loose in terms of that sort of thing, like players coming in and out, you making decisions as the gamer as to where the ball goes, because once the ball gets to the place it's supposed to go, it's sort of, the role is self-contained to that player. And there's actually some offensive defensive interaction in this game as well. So we have a defensive number for every player. And again, higher defensive numbers mean a better player. That's based mostly off of total rebounds, steals, blocks, and I want to say there was one more thing that gets factored into that. So it's a formula that kind of comes out at the end based on a 2 to 12 roll that's based on those sort of defensive factors as a basketball player. You can see here Okur, a lot of these guys you're gonna get higher numbers from your front court players, but I don't know if we have any. You know, TJ Ford, a very offensive guard, didn't play a lot of defense. Roshan Nesterovich, a very offensive big man, not not a defensive player. We have a few others over here. So Karan Butler, these were sort of leftovers after I cut out these teams. But Karan Butler, good on offense and defense, good free throw shooter, pretty good three-point shooter. And so same thing with Anton Jamison. You know, these are the top two players for the Wizards. These are the bottom two players for the Seattle Supersonics. And you can see not much of an offensive or defensive presence. Good free throw shooter, though. And can't shoot three-pointers worth a lick. So that's part of it when you're a center. So the other part is the three-point shot, and that higher number again is going to equal a better shooter. So let's walk through just a little bit. Let's say it's going to be Toronto. It's going to be the Utah Jazz with the ball. And first roll, what we need to do is decide who is going to be sort of the key player on the possession. Who's going to have the ball in their hands to shoot, or if you want to pass, you can do that as well. But most of the time, you're just going to be shooting. A 1, so all of these numbers line up. It's just a 1d6 roll. So 1 is point guard, 2 shooting guard, 3, 4, 5. So you have your five positions on the floor. A roll of a 6 is a player's choice. Now you can decide how you want to do that. You can simply choose, which is usually what I do. You can go by the highest rated points per game on the floor. You can go by the highest rated offensive player on the floor, which that's usually going to be your highest rated points per game as well. Or you can simply roll again, and then you would get, you know, a 5. Either way is fine. I'm going to go with Darren Williams. I like Darren Williams. He's one of the few Utah Jazz players that I actually like. And so I'm going to go with him. And after the first roll determines the player, then you're going to roll all 3. And this one's what we're going to call the defense die. And the defense die is an opportunity for the defense to get involved into the play. Now, if there's a shot made, and this... Okay, so there's 2 things. So if there's a made shot, the defensive die means something. And if there's a missed shot, the defensive die means something else. So we're looking at Darren Williams, and we want to take our 2d6 roll. We have a 9. We compare it to the offensive rating of Darren Williams. It's greater than 9. If it was equal to or less than, the shot would be made. If it's greater than, the shot is missed. So we have a missed shot, and that's a 2-point shot. We have a 1 on the d6 die. So on a missed shot, a 1 is either on a miss or a make. Actually, a 1 is going to mean a foul on the defense. So if you were to make the shot and you get the foul, then that's a chance for a 3-point play, or a 4-point play if you make the 3-pointer. And if it is a missed shot like we have here and a 1, that's going to be simply 2 free throws. So when we look down through our missed shots, we have a 1 is going to be a foul on the shot. A 2 is going to be a foul before the shot, so that just counts as a team foul, and then you roll the possession over. A 3 doesn't mean anything. 3 is just simply a straight up missed shot. That's it. There's no defensive involvement. A 4 or a 5, either one, is going to be what I call a rebound battle. And basically you roll to find who the defensive rebounder is, and then you can roll to find the offensive rebounder as well. Or you can just say, okay, it was Bargnani, and it's going to be a rebound battle between the power forwards. That's sort of how I do it. It's the easiest way that I can think about it. But you could simply roll, and you could wind up with Ronnie Brewer and Bargnani fighting over a rebound, you know, on a missed shot. A rebound battle is resolved by rolling 1d6 for each player, adding whatever that value is to their defensive rating. So you can see both of these are 3s. So if one is greater than the other, they win the rebound. It can either be an offensive board to Ronnie Brewer, or it could be the defensive board to Bargnani. If they tie, then you have a jump ball. So they've gone up and they both, you know, they have to do a jump ball for that. You could simply go with a possession arrow system, or there's a jump ball system that works almost exactly the same way. So you have these 2 players, you roll 1 for each, you add to their defensive number, and then whoever comes out on top wins the tip. And so jump balls and rebound battles, basically the same thing. For a tie on a rebound battle, you'll go to a jump ball. For a tie on a tip-off for a jump ball, you can either say home team gets it every time, or you can say, the ref threw the ball up and nobody could tap it, and so, we have to do it over again. However you want to do that. Those are two options that you could choose. You could simply make it faster and just say on a tie for a jump ball, the home team gets the ball. Or you could say the defense gets the ball, or however you want to do it. So that's on a miss. If the shot was a double, so let's say our original was a 1, right? So if the shot is a double, that means it's a 3-point shot. So for Darren Williams, an 8 is still greater than his offensive rebounding, or his offensive number. And so that's going to be a missed 3-point shot. Now, if he had instead rolled let's say a 4, so a double 2, that's less than his offensive number, so it's a made shot. It's also less than his 3-point number, which is a 5. So he has an opportunity to make 2 threes. So a double 2 or a double 1, he can make a 3-point shot. But if it were double 3s, that equals 6, so it's a made shot, but it's greater than his 5 for the 3-pointer. So a double 3 would just be simply a 2-point shot. So if it's in between these numbers, or right at this number but greater than this number, then it's just a 2-point shot. You can see there's no opportunities for Carlos Boozer to hit a 3-pointer, but Mehmet Okur could step out and shoot a 3-pointer. This is actually based on their 3-point numbers. I also, for the older seasons, have included a 3-point number, and that's based on a formula like field goal percentage minus 20%, kind of in between what you would normally think. The suggestion from ChatGPT was minus 10%, but I looked at the actual numbers when I look at 3-point shooters, like kind of in each range, and it's anywhere from 10% to 30% below their field goal percentage. So I went with 20%, just kind of as a mean in the middle to hit everybody. So there are some 5-6 rated guys from 1972 who never took a 3-point shot, and you can use 3-pointers if you want. You can say, I don't want to use 3-pointers, I want to play it sort of as it was, and then anything below the offensive number is just a 2-point shot and good. So you can do that however you want to. So that's on a make. And on a make, let's say it is a 4, and then we have a 1 here. On a make, a 1 is a defensive foul, and that's going to be in the act of shooting. So here you would have, for Darren Williams, a 3-point shot plus 1, so you'd have an opportunity for a 4-point play. If it was a 5, obviously it's no double, so 3-pointers are out, but it is less than or equal to his offensive number. So you basically have a 2-point shot plus a foul. If this were a 6, and I didn't cover this is whether it's a miss or a make. If this is a 6, then that's when the defense comes into play. So we have a made shot here, and we rolled a 6 for our defense, and the defense is going to come into play. So what we need to do is we need to roll these 2 d6 again, and it wouldn't be bad to roll all 3. So we get another 6, and we get an 11. Now on a made shot, the defense can actually force a miss, so it's like a contested shot. So it's a potential make if we have to roll. If this defensive die was a 6, it's kind of like a potential make. So then we roll. He's being guarded by Jose Calderon. He has a defense of 3. If this roll for the defense is greater than the player's defensive number, then the shot goes in. No problem. Contested shot, he drains it. So here we have an 11. If the defensive roll is equal to or less than the defensive number, then that means the defender has caused a miss. So on a made shot and you have to roll for the defense, it's either a make or a miss, right? So the computer, ChatGPT wanted me to do that roll every single time. I felt like with realism with the shooting, you would have had to like compensate for that, but I wanted to have it more realistic with the shooting. So now only, what is that, 16, almost 17% of the time, you have an opportunity for the defense to make a stop. You would be surprised at how often it comes up. It actually does come up quite a bit. There's probably 8 to 10 shots that are contested in every game, maybe more. And, you know, depending on how good your defenders are, there's not a lot of good defenders out here. Moon is okay and Bosch is okay. But these guys here are going to be getting their shots off. So depending on how good a defender you have on another player, that's gonna determine whether shots go in. Now often big men are pretty good, and we don't have anybody here that's just spectacular. Even Chris Bosch is good but not spectacular. So some guys have 8, 9 on their defense, and so you got to roll higher than an 8 or a 9 in order to make the shot. So it becomes pretty difficult. And you think, oh, 8, 9, 7, those are kind of low. They're not very low. You're talking about 50, 60, 70%. That's what those numbers represent. So 50, 60, 70% of the time, you're going to cancel out a made shot. Now on a missed shot, if you have a defensive roll of 6, now you're going to roll again, and we have an 8. On a missed shot, again, that's higher than his 3. On a missed shot, if it's equal to or less than, and the player is a shooting guard or a point guard, one of these guys, that means it's a steal by the defensive player. If it's a power forward, small forward, or center, then that means it's a blocked shot. Only if it's equal to or less than the defensive rating, and only on a missed shot. On a missed shot, if it's greater than, then that's going to lead to a straight up fast break. So you're going to have a missed shot, there's a rebound, a kick out, a fast break, and then I like to roll these two because this is distinct, but you could just as easily roll these two. On a fast break, you want to know, 1, who has the ball, who's taking the shot, and 2, what happens on the shot. So you roll, and we have a 1-1, so this is going to be the point guard. Remember, 1 is our point guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on a 1, that's going to be a layup plus a foul. So I have this all in a chart that you can easily reference. I'm just not showing you the charts right now, but it's a layup plus a foul. So that's 2 points to the point guard, and he gets to go to the line for the shot. So if it was Jose Calderon, he has a 7. That's less than or equal to 11, and so that would be a 3-point shot, or a 3-point play. So the hoop and the free throw, and that's on the fast break. And so that would count as a miss, that's 1 possession, and then the fast break, that's 2 possessions, and then you would go back, you would mark 2 off on the possessions chart. So that's the essence of the game. If you wanted to assign assists and rebounds and things like that, blocks are going to come up, but I do have a chart that kind of pushes things toward power forwards and centers if you want to. You can do the simple block system like I showed you, and then blocks and steals, they are also going to lead to a fast break. It's just that you get a block or a steal, as opposed to rolling over their defense number, and then now you just have a fast break with no block or steal. But if there's a block, if there's a steal, that's going to kick off a fast break. So you're going to have probably several opportunities a game to get into a fast break system. So it's like every part of the game, you kind of get a taste and a touch of everything. But again, you're going to get all the players. So every single player who got into a game, you can see this is all the Raptors players here. Even guys who either got hurt and didn't play very much, or they were backups. They were somewhere between the 10th and the 15th man on the bench, and you can check those out. So that's the game. I'm working on the game guide right now, and just kind of putting some different things together. I've been using the score sheet from Top of the Key Basketball, so it's totally applicable here just as a general basketball score sheet. And I've had some really good games from 72 all the way to 2008. The computer has gone through and done lots of game simulations as well. Everything comes out looking, spot on with the right players having the right things. Tim Duncan has got a double-double, and Kobe Bryant scoring 30, and just the things that you would expect are actually happening in the game. So I'm super excited about it. It's really easy to pick up. Once you get the basic roll sequence down, it'll take you 3 or 4 rolls to get that down. And if you played tabletop games before, you understand the system. So it's whatever the number is, and less and lower, I guess, is going to be good, a success. If it's greater than, then that's when special things are going to kick in. So lots of really cool things here. I will be playing, I don't have time to do it this morning, but I'll be playing out a game maybe between these players here, and you can check that out whenever I post that. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section. If you are interested in this game, let me know. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can click on subscribe. You can also click that little thumbs up button. That's super helpful, just to let me know, this is content I appreciate, I like. It also sends a good signal to Google so that they'll be showing this to more and more people as well. You'll be able to get this you'll get the 3 seasons at the Facebook group. And so if you haven't joined the Facebook group, you can go to Facebook groups, look up Clark and Addison Gaming Company, answer a few questions, agree to the group rules. You got to do all those things because it's a private group. And once you do, I'll let you in, and you'll have access to Top of the Key is in the file section, as well as some other games that I have that you'll just be able to download straight from the files section. If you're not on Facebook, send me an email to clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com, and I will get Top of the Key to you. Or if you want to try that one out, it's a full play basketball game, much more detailed than this, and a lot more rolls. Although this is going to give you every stat that you want, you'll be able to assign them individually or assign them through a chart, and you can also do some other things. Every player is carded. Yeah, it's just kind of a different system, Top of the Key. So you can get that if you email me, and when these are ready, I will email you the files as well if you're not on Facebook. But if you're on Facebook, just join the group and you'll be able to get those files straight away. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.